Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to discuss line to line fault or LL fault. So here I have considered an unloaded generator and the line to line fault I have considered across phase B and phase C. This line to line fault we can consider across any of the two phases, but here I have considered across phase B and phase C, and this path represents the flow of fault current. Fault current will flow through this area. Now we will see the boundary conditions. When we will see the boundary conditions of the current, see from the figure itself it is clear that the current through phase A will be 0, because since the fault occurs across phase B and C, total current or most of the current will flow through this path only. Okay, so IA will be 0, and what about VB and VCC? Here we can consider this as a short circuit across phase B and phase C. We can consider this as a short circuit, and we know for a short circuit VB will be equal to VC. If these two voltages will be equal, then only we can consider this as a short circuit, right? So VB will be equal to VC. That is the second condition. Okay, first is IA equal to 0, second is VB equal to VC, and the third one is that, see, IB equal to IC, but IC is in opposition to IB. Okay, here you see the flow of current IB. IB is flowing in this direction and IC is opposite to that of IB. That means IB is equal to minus of IC, or if we take this IC to the LHS of this equation, we can write IB plus IC equal to 0. So these three are the boundary conditions. Now we will use these three boundary conditions to analyze the LL network. First, with the current, let us first see the positive sequence component of the current in phase A, that is IA1. IA1 is equal to 1 by 3 times of IA plus AIB plus A square IC. And from the boundary conditions we know IA equal to 0. So this term will be 0. Okay. And the rest of the term I have written over here. And look at the negative sequence current. The negative sequence current is equal to 1 by 3 times of IA plus A square IB plus AIC. Same as of the symmetry component current derivations. Okay, which is equal to, again, IA equal to 0. The rest of the part is 1 by 3 times of A square IB. Instead of IC, I have written minus IB. With this formula or with this result, we have replaced IC with minus IB. Same way here, IC with minus IB. And when we look into these two results, both are same only. Both are same only with a negative sign, with a difference in the negative sign. If we multiply this term with a negative, then we will get this result. That means IA1 is equal to minus of IA2, or in another we can say IA2 equal to minus of IA1. Both results are correct only. But normally with reference to positive sequence current only we will write the results, that is IA1 equal to negative of IA2. Okay, and what about zero sequence current? For the zero sequence current, which is equal to 1 by 3 times of IA plus IB plus IC, and IA is equal to 0 we know, and from this result IB plus IC is equal to 0. That means this term is also equal to 0. That is zero sequence current equal to 0 in LL fault. In the case of LL fault, zero sequence current is equal to 0, and I have already told in LG fault is that whenever there is a ground fault, then only zero sequence term will come into existence. But here there is no ground fault. As you can see, there is no ground fault. So definitely the zero sequence current will be equal to 0. Now let's analyze the voltage part, voltage boundary conditions. Let's see how we can come into a conclusion about this voltage boundary condition. From the symmetric component transformation, we know an unbalanced voltage VB equal to VA0 plus A square VA1 plus A VA2, VC equal to VA0 plus A VA1 plus A square VA2. Okay, with reference to this boundary condition, if I equate these two terms, VA0 plus A square VA1 plus A VA2 equal to VA0 plus A VA1 plus A square VA2, these two terms get cancelled each other, and here in the LHS of this equation I am taking VA1 as common, and in the RHS I am taking VA2 as common, and as you can see both the terms are equal only, then both terms will cancel each other, and the remaining result is that VA1 is equal to VA2. This is the another result we got from this boundary condition VB equal to VC. And with this result, let's see how we can derive an equation for positive sequence current IA1. From the sequence network of generator, we know what is the value of VA1 and VA2 for an unloaded generator, right? We have already discussed that part. From that result, we know VA1 is equal to EA minus IA1 into Z1 and VA2 equal to minus IA2 into Z2. And prior to this section, we have already derived that what is IA1 is equal to minus IA2. So if I replace, instead of minus IA2 with IA1, we can rewrite this whole equation as EA minus IA1 into Z1 equal to IA1 into Z2. So in the RHS of this equation, we can take common as IA1 and in the bracket Z1 plus Z2. That means IA1 is equal to EA divided by Z1 plus Z2. Okay. So in this LL fault, we have got three results. First one is that IA1 equal to minus IA2, and the second one is that VA1 equal to VA2, and the third one is that IA1 equal to EA divided by Z1 plus Z2. With these three results, let us now look on to the interconnection of sequence networks for the LL fault, and we should note one thing is that there is no any significance for zero sequence network, as we have already seen IA not equal to 0. Since this is an LL fault, there is no significance of ground. There is no ground means there is no zero sequence component. Okay, now let's see the interconnection of sequence networks. Well, from this interconnection of sequence networks for LL fault, here if we have seen, we can clearly note down that this VA1 and VA2 both are same only. See, both the points I have marked with respect to same terminals, that is VA1 is equal to VA2, and if we have noticed the direction of IA1 and IA2, the flow of IA1 is like that, and which is opposition to that of IA2. That means IA1 is equal to minus IA2. And what about the value of this IA1? IA1 is equal to V divided by impedance. What is the voltage value? EA, and the total impedance is Z1 plus Z2, as these two impedance are connected in series, that is EA divided by Z1 plus Z2, right? So we have proved these three values are correct with respect to this interconnection of sequence networks, and this part represents our positive network and this part represents our negative sequence networks. And here we didn't reach the value of fault current, still we haven't seen that. So now let's see, now we will see what is the value for fault current IF. From the figure we know the fault current, this is the fault current IF. Fault current IF is equal to, either we can equate to current through phase B, or we can say minus of current through phase C. This is, I have represented with a equation over here. IF is equal to IB, or we can say minus IC. And if I took IB equal to IA naught plus A square IA1 plus A IA2, and we know this IA2 equal to minus IA1. If I take IA1 as common, IA1 into A square minus A, and the complex operator A, the value of complex operator A we know, and the value of complex operator A square also we know. If I substitute the values of these two values A square and A, we get as IA1 into minus J into 2 into 0.866. Here we will consider only the magnitude, okay. Only the magnitude means 2 into 0.86 means root 3. The value will be 1.372, which is nothing but root 3. So if we consider the magnitude alone, IF will be equal to root 3 times of IA1. And what is this IA1? What is the value of this IA1 that we have already derived? IA1 is equal to EA divided by Z1 plus Z2. Okay, so totally we can say IF is equal to root 3 times of EA divided by Z1 plus Z2. That is about the fault current. Okay, so we will see within another lecture in the next video. Thank you.